So hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from today. We're so excited to have you here today and to host this panel. I'm Drew Cutright, and I am the program administrator for the University Global Coalition and an employee of Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, Georgia. So welcome to this panel. This is a University Global Coalition panel on student action for the SDGs. We're so excited to host you and to hear from these amazing students around the world who are taking action in their communities and globally to advance the SDGs. We've got a wide variety of interests and projects, and we're thankful to the panelists and our moderator for sharing their time and their experiences with us, and we'll introduce them shortly. So just a few informational items before we get started. Other than our panelists today, everyone is set to be automatically on mute to block out some background noise. We'll have about 30 minutes worth of presentation from their panelists, and then we'll have at least 15 minutes for questions and answers. You're welcome to send questions in at any point through the Q&A feature at the bottom. That will go straight to the organizer and to the panelists. During the Q&A time at the end, if you would prefer to come off mute and on camera to ask your question, we're happy to do that. Just please use the hand raise feature and we'll try to get to as many of you as possible. Also, I'm sure you noticed when you came in that we will be recording today. We'll share the recording in a follow-up email and also on the UGC website. All right, so thanks for your patience as we run through those items. Welcome again to the University Global Coalition panel on student action for the SDGs. If you're not familiar with UGC, that's okay. It's a network of higher education institutions from around the world focused on integrating the UN Sustainable Development Goals into all facets of higher education, from teaching, research, operations to partnerships. You can find out more about UGC and sign up for our newsletter at our website that I'll put in the chat after I'm done talking, universityglobalcoalition.org. You can also follow us on Twitter, and I will put that information in the chat as well. It's at UniGlobalCo, or on LinkedIn by searching for University Global Coalition. So this year, UGC partnered with the State University of New York, the SUNY system, and a working group of a host of institutions to host our second SDG Action and Awareness Week from February 28th through March 4th. This conversation today is a continuation of many of the topics that were addressed during the week. The goals of SDG Action and Awareness Week are to provide educational resources on what the SDGs are and how they're relevant to your work, but also to showcase amazing work of our partner institutions that they're doing around the world. This year we had partners plan 57 free events that we shared through the UGC Global Calendar. You can view recordings of several of those sessions on our website at universityglobalcoalition.org. And of course, we recognize that the global goals are not confined to 1 week. So we wanted to make sure we continue this conversation, and what better way to do that than through sharing some work of our amazing students. So I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Abigail Canales Ibarra, who is the Partnerships Manager for Millennium Campus Network. And I'll ask Dr. Canales to introduce herself and then to quickly introduce the panelists in the order they'll be speaking. And then we'll hear from them. All right, thank you, Dr. Canales.
Thank you so much, Drew. Well, good morning. This is a beautiful morning here at Mexico, where I'm based, your home, as we always say. So good morning, good afternoon, good night. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us today. You will meet this wonderful women who are improving our world, definitely. So my name is Dr. Abigail Canales. You can call me Abby. I'm the Partnerships Manager of Millennium Campus Network, where we run the Millennium Fellowship, and we partner with United Nations Academic Impact. So thank you so much for joining us today. We promise this will be a very interesting panel because we have wonderful women here. And thank you so much to you, Drew, especially, and you for having us today. So starting here, I would love to present our panelists today. First, we have Ayushi Nahar. She's a law student at OP Jindal Global University. Then we have Keanu Fabian, student at the University of Buffalo at ELN Intern at GWEM magazine. Then we have Prachi Lalwani, student at Florida International University, intern on the International Rescue Committee and BPO at operations at FYU Student Ambassadors. Then we have Lois Obamina, student at University of Benin, and Valeria Soto, student of Sustainable Development Engineering and intern of the Sustainability and Climate Change Plan to 2025 at Tecnológico de Monterrey. So please kindly start to introduce yourself and let us know. Yes, please. What are your interests, your projects, your motivations, your passions with us? Starting with Ayushi, please kindly unmute yourself, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Abigail, for that introduction and for this opportunity to begin with, both to Abby and to UGC for reaching out to me for this opportunity. I feel incredibly grateful at this moment, right? So let me just start by introducing myself. My name is Ayushi Nahar. I'm currently reading the law at OP Jindal Global University. I'm from India. Now, my journey with the SDGs primarily began with the Millennium Fellowship, right? And it gave me a platform to pursue my project, the Financial Literacy Times, that aims at, inculcating financial literacy as part of the entire conversation and discourse within the Indian landscape, right? And I was tackling two primary key stakeholders. One was women within my community as well as children. And I'll explain exactly why I did that. Now, India has a very thriving economic environment, okay? And the past few years have actually is a testament to that very fact. But we also share a cultural baggage, a social baggage of patriarchy, which constantly sidelines women from making financial decisions, right? And that is problematic on a very fundamental basis, because financial independence is a key towards their growth, is a key towards their own personal development, and it's an enabler that helps them pursue their passions and their ambitions. But in India, what happens is generally it's the male member in the family, be it the husband, the father, or the brother, who takes those financial decisions for the women. And hence, they are inevitably constrained to the four walls of their house, as the cliched line goes, right? So, which is why speaking to women about finance, talking to them about the different channels and avenues they can generate income from, or they can invest into, would help them. Because personally, when I was young, my dad did the same for me. At the age of 6, he invested on my behalf. And I remember receiving posts with my name on the portfolio summary. More than the money, just seeing my name in bold capital letters made me feel empowered. And that's something I want to share with other women from my community, right? Now, let me move to the next key stakeholder, which is children. In India, what happens is parents automatically take up the financial, responsibilities of their child from the day they are born till the day they get married and even beyond. But at some point, children have to take, leadership, be on the driving seat, and realize that, money does not come as easily, and they have to plan for future goals, etc. Right? So in that way, they would be making their own financial decisions from a very young age, and which is very important, right? So basically, my project Financial Literacy Times would therefore promote two SDGs primarily. SDG number 8, which is decent work and economic growth, and SDG number 10, which is reduced inequalities. Right? Now, this was within one domain which I'm working in, but of late, of course, as a law student, I do have my eyes on various fields within the law and justice segment, right? So I've been interning with this firm in India, which looks at integrating technology with law, with integrating AI and law. Now, this is extremely important for a country like India because we have a huge caseload, and technology can reduce the burden to in manifold ways, right? So it's so essential for us to keep that in mind and put it all together. And I personally am very invested into these projects, as recent as yesterday, where I got the opportunity to meet this Joint Secretary at the Department of Justice in India, where I gave him a couple of views about how I think the justice gap in India can be, reduced by certain technological shifts and moves and change in the entire attitude in the justice system as a whole, right? So this particular segment in Law and Justice would then help further SDG number 16, which is basically looking at peace, justice, and strong institutions in the world. My core takeaways when it came to looking at either my financial literacy project or my work within the Law and Justice segment is that my guiding principles remained constant. And these guiding principles were two. One was my conscience, and one was the kindness and humility with which I worked with. And this has helped me persevere and also storm through all the hardships or all the failures I have personally been through in the journey of reaching a particular point, right? And I think for every student member here, I think there's that one driving principle or spirit which takes us forward, which helps us, which motivates us every morning to get up and do something which we're passionate about despite the hardships we face. So for me, again, conscience, kindness, and humility works that way. And I think I'll end on a really, small quote, which my dad used to tell when I was really young. He was like, Ayushi, make sure that in life, you just don't float through, you make waves. To 5-year-old me, I was like, what is he trying to say? I could just visualize waves in my head probably. But today, after 15 years, I do realize that I have a unique skill set, a unique idea that the world needs. There is a lacuna and I know I can fill it. I just need to have the conviction to go ahead with that and make sure I'm there for those who aren't empowered like the way I am. At the end of the day, be it law, financial literacy, it's me uplifting others by uplifting myself through education. Since I have the privilege of these things, I hope that I can transfer the same to everyone else out there who needs it a lot more than I do. So thank you so much. And I cannot wait to hear from the rest of the panelists out here. And I do want to say that kudos to all of us personally, because we're working from the very grassroots levels and we're like the solo performers in our show. And that takes a lot of courage and a lot of conviction in our own work and our own potential. So thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you so much, UGC. I'm looking forward to all your questions, and over to Abby again.
Ayushi, that was a stunning kickoff. So thank you so much. You really fill us our heart with motivation and inspiration. And inequality is happening all around the world, and it's so important to see and to conversate about this. Thank you so much for your lovely work, and keep on doing it. So please, Keana, are you there? Can you unmute yourself and present yourself?
Hi, Abby, thank you. So I first wanted to say thank you everyone for being here, and thank you to those who organized this event and made this possible. So I do have some slides that I want to show, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's see it. Okay, this isn't. I'm so sorry.
Keana, this is Drew. If you want me to share your slides, I can too.
Yeah, because I did share them with you, right?
Yes.
So could you do that?
Yeah.
Thanks. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so you could switch to the next one. So a little bit about me. My name is Keanu Fabian. I'm a senior at the University at Buffalo in New York, and I'm majoring in communication. Some of my research interests throughout my academic career have been the perpetuation of gender roles, stereotypes, and gender inequality within the media and popular culture, with a focus on popular TV shows, video games, and literature, and its effects on women in particular. So I've been passionate about addressing inequalities and working towards gender equality and women's empowerment on a personal level for as long as I can remember. But I actually wasn't familiar with the formal SDGs until just this year, when I was introduced to GWEM magazine in their project. You can switch to the next. Thank you. Oh, the one before. Thank you. So I was introduced to the GWEM magazine project through one of my communication courses, which partnered with UB's Experiential Learning Network. And when I read about their work and mission of aiding in gender equality and women's empowerment, I immediately knew this was a project I wanted to be a part of. I thought the magazine was a creative way of engaging others with the movement, and I saw GWEM to be something really meaningful and impactful to the women's empowerment movement. So I prepared a little video as well that describes GWEM in a bit more detail, which I was hoping to play a little part of. And I think I sent it to Drew as well.
Just 1 second while I pull that up.
No problem. And you can stop it at about 1 minute and 42 seconds, just for the sake of time. Thank you so much for playing those. So we can return back to my slides where I'll talk about a little bit more of my contribution to GWEM. So my contribution to GWEM so far has been the development of a monthly newsletter that highlight the stories of women and women empowerment initiatives that we feature in the magazines. I saw this as a way for the GWEM team to further communicate with our readers and supporters and frequently inspire and motivate them to take action and advocate for women's rights and global women's empowerment. Next slide. So yeah, and I also am working on increasing our reach and engagement in our social media accounts. So this is a little bit of that. And so as I wrap up, interning at GWEM so far and learning about the SDGs has provided me the opportunity to learn and grow so much while making a difference in global issues that I care about. In the short time I've been able to work with GWEM, I've been able to spread our message and our mission to more people and more students, which is really important to me. Prior to starting my work with GWEM, my plans for the future were unclear, but my experience has helped me to realize the impact we can make when we work together to uplift one another. So in the future, I plan to continue to support the women's empowerment movement and would hope to take my work further into promoting women's economic empowerment and increasing the representation of women in leadership. I also will be seeking opportunities to gain more experience in public relations, journalism, and corporate and organizational diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. As my final words, I just want to say that ultimately, I want to see a world in which all women are treated fairly and are provided the resources and opportunities that allow them to reach their full potential. And I'll end off with my favorite quote, which is, "You're capable of more than you know." Thank you.
Keana, that was really wonderful. I really love that. Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Thank you so much. Information is so important. Visibility is so important. And when you take action of it, well, you can change the world. So thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Next, we will have Prachi Lalwani. Well, Prachi, can you kindly introduce yourself? We're so excited to hear from you.
Yeah, can you hear me, right? Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Prachi Lalwani. I'm an international student studying in Florida International University. I'm originally from Venezuela, but if you can see my face, I'm from India. My two parents immigrated to India way before I was born. And I think so it's there when like my story started, because I always say to people, I'm living the best of both worlds and I have privilege that a lot of women around the world, they don't have. I want to talk about the two sides of my story, the India story and the Venezuela story. So when I was 9 and I was 12, I traveled to India and I saw how women were oppressed, how they couldn't express themselves, they couldn't even eat in the same tables the men do. And I always asked my mom, like, why I'm so different? Why I can do all this stuff in Venezuela and they cannot even like choose what school to study or if they want to get married or not. And that really like hurt my heart. And I was like, Mom, I want to be the voice for them. I have my rights, I have my privilege, so I want to be that for them. And from there, like when I was 15, someone from the United Nations came to my school in Venezuela and started talking about the SDGs, started talking about like human rights. And I was like, Mom, I want to do that for the rest of my life. So that is when my passion for human rights started. But it wasn't until I was 17 that if everyone knows what is happening in Venezuela, the situation is really bad. And a lot of like my classmates or even people that were engaged, they were dying because of the protests. The military were throwing bombs. Even I was a professional swimmer in Venezuela, and I was swimming and the military threw a bomb and I almost died there because of the exploding. And there was so much going on. And I was like, I won't never be able to get education and make an impact in this place because everything's going to be taken from me at one point and another one. So that is then when I annoyed my parents so much and I came to the US to study as international student. And I always wanted to do things related to human rights, and that is the reason why I heard about the Millennium Fellowship I applied to in my campus too, and then I become the campus director, because I don't know, just inside of me, I have this passion that I was like, I always dreamed to do something bigger than myself. And coming from two countries where all the rights are being taken, when people cannot even like express themselves, or if you have a different perspective of life or want to do something, everything's taken from you. So I was like, no, I want to be the opposite of that. And that is like how everything started. My Millennium Fellowship project is called Claim Your Crown. That is kind of like a platform to empower and like encourage women all around the world to have the resources and like just to express themselves and like go seek for opportunities. So what I was doing for the past 2 years is every Friday, I was bringing women all around the world in different career fields, giving workshop, personal one-on-one mentoring. So the women in minorities, like here in Miami, they can just get to experience something that they usually wouldn't experience in their country. And so far, we have helped more than 5,000 women around the world. I received messages that just because one word on one person, on being the right moment in the right place could change your whole life. And I always tell people, like, we want to see this big impact in the world, but we undermine the little steps. And I'm the opposite. I always believe that if I can inspire one person, that person can inspire someone else. And like this, we start a change reaction. And even when like me, that I'm like senior, I'm graduating, I'm exhausted and all that kind of stuff, like the reason why I am here, because I have a purpose, I have a vision, and I know what legacy I want to leave in this world and even in the university. So that is like the reason why I keep pushing every day. And I'm like so empowered by all of you being here, because I said to people that we don't choose what happened to us half of the time, but we choose how to react, and that is our victory. It's not how many times we fall, but all the times that we keep standing with our values and our truth. So yeah, that is one part. And I will say to people that this is my favorite quote. I think it's a quote by me, but I got it. And it says, an honest voice is stronger than a shouting crowd. So if you stand for your truth, that is like what matters. And other people are gonna follow you, because leaders make leaders. And I also like heard that I need to talk about what I want to do in the future. So as international student, my short-term plan is to work for a think tank or an NGO. And then if I get my H-1B on my sponsor, or later my master's, like then I want to jump into the United Nations. I want to work for the United Nations Development Programming, that is related to the UN Women. And also I want to work for the International Development Agency in the United States once I get to be citizen. And from there, I want to be in the Foreign Service, and I want to travel around the world representing the US. And I'm here because as an international student, I learned the language like super fast. In 7 months, I just like start going back to back. And I just tell people that if you have a passion, don't let anyone take that from you. Like if you don't fight for your dreams, nobody's gonna do it. And I can tell you that my story started with my parents, because recently my dad passed away and my mom is in another country and I'm here by myself. And I was like, my parents taught me how to stand for my truth, how to fight for my dreams. And my dad, being an Indian man with a patriarchal mindset, he always told me that he wanted to see me happy and helping all people around the world, because that was in his heart. And now I'm living the legacy of my dad. And I just wanted to ask you, do you know your worth? Do you know your value? You know, what you can do to what you have inside of you that you can add to any place that you go. My parents always taught me to work with excellence, always to give your 100%. And I think that is the key I'm telling everyone. Maybe you're not qualified, but don't disqualify yourself. And something that in my church, my pastor told me one time was that God doesn't choose the one who is prepared. He prepared the chosen one. And with the time and the things that you're doing, that is going to prepare you. So don't undermine what you're going through. I needed to go through everything I went through in life so I can be standing here in front of all of you. So I just want to empower all of you. I will put my social media later if you want to contact me. But we are here for you. And as Ayushi was talking about it, we are starting everything from the grass, and maybe we are the first one doing the change, but we don't want to be the last one, and we want to help you to achieve those dreams. So take advantage, we are here. But yeah, thank you so much.
Prachi, that was truly, truly inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You opened your heart with us, and that is really admirable. And that is also, yeah, we appreciate it so much because you touch our hearts, and now we want to do a change. You know, you touch so much things that we get identified by. And with raising your voice, you are actually creating this real movement. So thank you so much, Prachi, for all your beautiful words and sharing your story. Okay, so moving next, please, Lois, are you there? We would love to hear you as well. So all yours, the stage.
Right. Thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you, UGC, for the opportunity. My name is Lois Obamina. I'm a student of University of Benin here in Nigeria. My project is concerning mental health, SDG 3, particularly mental health. So the passion actually started when it was during the lockdown. Students were coming up with mental health issues. They were reaching out, my classmates, like nobody knew how, when we are going to come out of lockdown, and the whole issue with the protests, people being shot and all that. So it was really, really, really very, very bad place to be. And I thought to myself, and I was like, is there anything anyone can do about this? Is there any way forward? Or we just keep being just down in the situation? And luckily for me, Millennium Campus Fellowship came alongside during that period. So I applied and I was made the campus director of my campus, University of Benin here in Nigeria. So during that period, I was exposed to a lot of things educationally, and I was given enough knowledge on how to go about my project. And I was able to see that we don't just do things because of ourselves, and nothing we go through is solely for us. That everything we go through, the experience we garner from different situations are to equip us and also to impact people. So I went into the mind fitness thing, and where we help students generally. And there was a period in my school where students were becoming suicidal, like the rate of students committing suicide, attempted suicide, and all the stuff were becoming alarming, very, very alarming. And I was like, hey, Lois, you need to do something. You need to do something. So I had a team, we come together, we talked about which way to go. And then we started the mind fitness thing where we got to reach out to people, encourage them, and last with safe space where students get therapy sessions and all that. So it was really, really a mind-opening journey for me. And I got to see that though I might not be doing much, but in my little corner, I'm actually trying to curtail the whole issue as regards mental health. And even until now, and relating with students and getting to see that, okay, this thing is very impactful. It's actually helping them open up, because another issue students have is being the ability to open up. You won't know somebody is going through depression. There are some persons that don't always have the sad face when they are being depressed or having anxiety issues. They just have this fake smiles, and then you don't really know what's going on. And then the next day you hear this person has really committed suicide, and you are surprised, and you're like, how did it happen? But I saw this person was sounding nice and all that. But deep down, they're going through a lot. It's really a lot right here, out here. So I just want to thank the Millennium Campus Fellowship for giving me the opportunity to be able to impact lives and also bring out the best in me. Because as regards passion, having passion is not enough if you don't act on that passion. You really need to put something into that passion. Passion is not just impacting life, and making social impact is not just a passive thing. It's actually active. You have to get in there. Even when you feel like you can't do just that, you wouldn't know until you try. So thank you very much, Abby. Thank you for the opportunity. I hope one or two persons are being impacted from what I have to share.
Lois, thank you so much for this beautiful, wonderful work. Mental health now, it's so important. We have a pandemic right now, and it is also about mental health. We are all on the same boat. we're all going through different situations. And yeah, I myself went through a difficult situation around my mental health. And because of people of you like you that are giving this information and trying to help each other, that's the way people who get these difficult situations can be helped and can be comfortable and go through that difficult situation. So thank you so much for that wonderful work that you're doing, and keep on rocking. and of course, last but not least, Valeria Soto, another wonderful Mexican here. So Valeria, the floor is all yours. Welcome and thank you so much.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Abby. I feel the pressure being the one talking after so many awesome stories. You will say that my story is not comparable to any of you. I don't think I have this great story to inspire you. I'm honestly going to talk to you about something that happened to me, that it took me a long time in the SDG action journey to realize the pressure that I felt on myself to find my path in here. But let me start from the beginning. My name is Valeria Soto. I am a student of Sustainable Development Engineering, 8th semester here in Tec de Monterrey. In Monterrey, I am Mexican, as Abby said. We are in the same city, actually, right now. And I will take you through my journey. In 2020, I was the president of my student association, the Sustainable Development Engineering Association, where it was for me a way to connect with my classmates and to be enthusiastic about the SDGs and our major during quarantine. At the time when I was elected president, I didn't know there was going to be a pandemic, but when the pandemic came, it was the time to step up and being the person that made you still want to study what we were studying. We made a lot of events, more than 4 events. We won even awards and it was super awesome. We got the opportunity to have, I never asked you, I'm so sorry, do you see my slides? I'm like talking and talking and talking and I never asked.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. We had the opportunity to do a congress that had more than 800 participants. I got the opportunity to interview Jeffrey Sachs, that it was at the moment one of the people that I admired the most. And it was super awesome being in the student association. It opened a lot of doors for me. And being in the student association as a president, I had the opportunity to do many things. Between 2020 and 2021, I got to explore many routes to be involved in SDG action. I got to be in the Global Entrepreneurship Summer School in the Challenge of Energy and Climate Change. I actually won that competition. I got to be certified as a climate reality leader. I got to be a participant and an intern in the whole prize in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. I was a participant of Youth Week of the SDSN Youth Mexico with the Senate, where I got to propose a change in the climate change general law. I got to speak at the Global Compact. I got to do a lot of things. And you will say, oh my God, that is amazing. That was the comment that I got a lot at that moment. But there was something. I remember that when I was doing all of things, I was talking with my boyfriend and I told him, I feel like I'm walking. I feel like I am advancing. I feel like I'm doing things, but I don't know towards what I am walking to. I am walking and walking, but towards where? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing this. I'm becoming burnout of trying to find my way and I cannot find it. I am super frustrated. And I was like, I felt so pressured for me because I know I had the talent. I knew I had the enthusiasm. I knew I was becoming academically prepared to give something from the action, and I couldn't find what I was passionate about. And it was super, super, super hard for me to accept that. I didn't find my path at that moment, but I realized two things. I really like climate action. Climate change in general is one of the things that I always felt attracted to. And I realized I was not entrepreneurial, so I was really in the entrepreneurial path. I was like, this is not for me, at least not for now, but I like working with people. So I gave myself a break from the SDG action actually last year, and I started working with people, organization, trying to be a project manager and to be like this leader and walking and talking and working with people. And I realized that this is where I felt comfortable. This is what I like. I have to find something that joins all of these things, but in my own unique way, because I cannot still feel miserable because I couldn't fit in everything that I thought was the only right path to contribute to the SDG action. So as I was telling you, I discovered that I like organizations, with people, with things that already exist. And right now, it is the moment we need to completely transform the society that we know. But in order to transform our society, we need to reform our society. There's a lot of people that need to work with what already exists in order to eventually transform. So I asked myself, how do we make organizations sustainable? And that is actually a question that has a lot of weight on it. But I will take you back to something that I did not tell you, that it was that back in 2019, just before I started my period as president, I was invited to make sure that my student association joined the Alliance for Climate Action in Monterrey. That is an initiative by the World Wildlife Foundation. Here, I saw more than 30 organizations gathering together towards climate action. And I'm not talking like something like small. I'm talking governments, the state government, the municipality governments, we're talking NGOs, we're talking universities, we're talking a lot of people. And I realized like, oh my God, how is this possible? How is this all these people getting together? And I realized that intersectoral and interinstitutional efforts are key for a sustainable future. Just by alliances, we can build a better future. And actually my university was part of that alliance. It was actually one of the organizations that was leading the formation of the alliance. So I decided that I was going to reach out to them because I needed some more guidance. And that one thing led to another. And now I am working as an intern in the Sustainability and Climate Change Plan here in Tec de Monterrey. And you cannot imagine how happy I am now. Although all of the things I did, I feel like I belong here. Not that I did not feel like I belong in the previous things I did, but it was like something did not click with me. But now I am putting all of my knowledge and all of my passion in something academic and something engineering and something that is changing an organization of more. I don't know how many students we have. I think we have just my campus, and there are 20 my campus. We are over 21,000 students. Just my campus, and we have 29. And I am directing with other people that are helping me because I am only an intern, as to create the student involvement in this climate and sustainability plan. And it's super awesome. And I think the thing that I want to give to you is that we all have a different path, and there are so many paths that are like already put for you. But if you don't find your place there, it's not that you cannot join us, you cannot do anything. You will need to try harder. You may feel a little bit lost, but you will find where you feel comfortable and when you can put all of your passion, talent, effort, enthusiasm towards SDG action. In my case, it was climate action. This is where I'm passionate. And now that I know where I feel comfortable, I can put all of that towards growth, innovation, disruptive ideas for a sustainable future and a sustainable present. Thank you so much. I'm so excited for your questions.
Valeria, thank you so much. That was also so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And this is so much to learn. Like we are always trying to find our path. Sometimes you feel like it's something, and then when you try, it's another thing, and it's okay. So we all get to know what with which things we feel better, which things we can actually help to improve our world. Thank you so much. And also, we are not alone, as everyone has said here. We're not alone. We are just youth trying to improve things. And when we talk with each other about these things, we see the importance of the union, of the team, of the cohorts. So thank you so much to every one of you. I want to like really clap you and an ovation to all of you, because you are powerful women. You are wonderful all over the world, and you just fill my heart in so many ways. And thank you so much. I know if you're there, like if the public is there, please just. I know we cannot see you, but yeah, we will clap for every one of you. So moving on to the last minutes around all these kind of questions, I want to go to some first, like one question very important. And sorry, I'm just too excited about it. Okay, so if anyone wants to go first, please unmute yourself, but here's an important question. How do you overcome feelings of imposter syndrome? This is too big, I can do this. And what has inspired you to take action or keep going when you have encountered obstacles? So please, if anyone wants to unmute yourself, yeah, Valeria, you go. Thank you so much.
Yes, I feel so identified by this. And one thing that I can tell you is stop putting all of this pressure on you. Well, the last time I checked, youth was like less than 30 years. So I will assume that we are all on that range. Actually, a lot of people do not expect us to know anything. No one expects no one to know anything. We are expected to ask and to keep on learning. But the thing that makes us really valuable is that it has all of this energy and hope. We have a lot of hope, and also something that we have, well, at least in my case, especially due to climate change, is that I have fear for my future. And I have a true thing and sincere interest in making a sustainable and better future. And that drives us and makes us learn and improve. And that is something that you need. Maybe it's not an external tool, it's an internal tool. Put away the pressure, ask, learn, and be that person that asked and learned. Because that is what you should be doing at this moment. And all of your life, actually, not only when you are young.
Yeah, I want to go next. Like, I think I also identify myself. I have imposter syndrome since I was a kid, and I didn't know even that exists until I came to the university. And it's because people start talking about mental health, about this kind of stuff, that you start realizing it's like, oh, whoa, like I kind of have that. So in my case, every person works differently. But in my case, the only way that I can fight imposter syndrome is with facts. So when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel I can't, like all these like lies inside of me, I just take a paper. And I was like, okay, Prachi, you feel that you're not doing enough. Write what you're doing right now. I write everything I'm doing. I was like, oh, I'm kind of doing a lot. And I was like, I don't even have time to sleep enough, you know? And that's that easing myself. But I think something really important is to also have the right community. Having your close friends and your people that tells you the truth. And also kind of slap you, you know, not slapping you, but slap you when you need to like be a slap. It's like, hey, Prachi, like stop. Or hey, pay attention to this or pay attention to that. So I think like talking about facts in your life and having the right community, both of them having like kind of the things for me that have helped. And actually, for one of the videos that I did on my Instagram with the claim on your crown or claim your crown, and she was the former director for the model of UN, and she talked about imposter syndrome. So while Ayushi is talking, I will find the video and I will put the link, because she like inspired me and she helped me to overcome this. But I hope so it can help you too. And I think what inspired me to keep pushing and everything, as I said earlier, like knowing like what legacy you want to leave, knowing that you don't want to pass through your university or the place that you are and live like just as a normal student, that you want to make an impact, and just knowing that you want to go to a place that is like enough encouragement for you to like keep pushing. And even if you don't know what is going on, one step at a time. It's like every day do something that ignites your heart, and you're gonna find it at one point. But yeah.
Right. I think for me, personally, a lot of what Prachi said, like instantly related with me, because I think I felt the same all the time, right? And I think when it comes to me personally, I kind of keep underappreciating the work I do, thinking that, that person's definitely better. He's got it in place, you're not doing enough, etc. And what you have or what you bring to the table isn't really new or fascinating. So, it's better just keep quiet, go with the flow. But I think what really, helped me get through it, and that it's not that I'm completely past it, I'm still in the process. But I think, like Prachi mentioned, it's the community for me. And I would say this community involves my parents, who have always given me the platform to feel unique. And that's very important, because most of the times we all feel like we're part of the crowd, there's nothing new, everything's mundane, but that's not the case. So kudos to my parents for doing that. And I think post that, especially since we're talking with respect to the projects and the SDGs, I think Millennium Campus Network has given me a lot of, like, spirit and motivation, right? When Mr. Sam Wagar, who's the executive director of Millennium Campus Network, he sat down with me for an hour just hearing me out about my project, I was personally so, happy and grateful to hear that, to see that someone is taking out that time and hearing me out. And so that made me feel that, what, you're doing something, you're going in the right place. And then when he further went on to connect me with Mr. Matt Patsky was like the CEO of Trillium Asset Management. I was genuinely so humbled and so happy, because at that point I was like, you did make a difference. What you said made some positive impact. So I think at the end of the day, for me, it's been the community support. So that's the one thing, guys, that's my biggest takeaway.
Thank you so much, Ayushi. Well, that was wonderful. I mean, we all have imposter syndrome, and it's so important to talk about it, because sometimes we just feel underappreciated, and then who is gonna bail you if we don't do it by ourselves first? So it's good to recognize it and then talk about it and trying our best to keep moving and empowering ourselves. So thank you so much, girls. We have a question from the public, so I don't know if that question will be glad to, if you can unmute yourself, just jump into the conversation. We're glad to have you here. Are you there? Hello, Kali. Welcome.
Hi.
Wonderful to have you here.
My question was, how is the best way to get involved with the SDGs as an undergraduate student?
All right. So I'll go. I think the one thing that is really important is just be aware. For example, so if you're in a university right now, do good background research about the opportunities, or look up professors or faculties or departments or clubs that are closely aligned with the work you do. The more you know, the better it is. Like they say, knowledge is power, right? So if you know the different avenues you can tap into, then it becomes easier to know like exactly where to go. And it's not like a foolproof thing that, if you know where to go and you find the right person, they'll say yes. It's a journey of perseverance, I guess. But also at the end of the day, just realize that networking becomes really essential. So you try to knock on as many doors as possible, because you have conviction in your idea. And if I speak on a personal front, I think Millennium Campus Network provided me with those opportunities to start the entire process, to launch my entire project, etc. And the network they give you is phenomenal. Like whether it's like Judge Albie Sachs, who's like the first, I think, judge at the International Criminal Court, etc. So all these networks and stuff came from Millennium Campus Networks, and it's fantastic. So I think these kind of opportunities, this Millennium is just one of the many. So if you can find others, it'll be great. So it's a lot to do on your own personal front, your research, etc. One thing leads to another. So yeah.
Some things that helped me find everything I wanted to do was to participate in things that were already put there, like the SDS in youth activities. You can find them, and many countries have them. Many of them have the youth chapter that can help you, and also there are NGOs that already are doing something, so you can reach out to them and put your talents to them. There are also a lot of events that you can also learn. For example, I can think of the Global Entrepreneurship Summer School that now has their applications open, and it is worldwide. And to start exploring till you find what you feel comfortable, and then redirecting your efforts towards that.
And yeah, what they say was like exactly what I have here, like in my notes, but it's kind of like, don't work hard, work smart. For example, if you like the United Nations, you know that they have the SDGs until like 2030, and that is like in what, 8 years? And almost all the organizations, I think all organizations related to UN have the SDGs. So just like, oh, organization related to SDG, and like they're not like you're gonna look all of them. That is like the main thing. So work is smart in that way. That is what I did for my internships. The second thing, inside of the university, at least with FIU, we have the program that is like in my bag. It's global learning. And they have like the program, they have the initiative that they contact the Millennium Fellowship. So like almost all the universities have organizations, philanthropy stuff. They have a lot of events related to SDGs. You just need to find them inside. In every single university, they have, at least FIU is Panther Connect, that you find every single event that is happening and every single organization. So you need to put the name or something related, and it's gonna appear everything from you. And in the worst case scenario, if there is nothing in your university, you can be the first one like adding them. Be the first one applying for like the Millennium Fellowship. Talk to your friends, hey, I have this idea. Or in your career, I have friends that like all of them want to work in the UN. I was like, do you want to create a UN chapter here? And contact someone from there. So that is like the three things, like do your research, go to your organization's university. If there is not, you can be the first one creating it. And for sure, like there are a lot of professors that are passionate about it, so they can be your advisors too. So it's always like, it's a process, but it's gonna be worthy at the end.
Wonderful. Thank you so much to all girls. And if you want to put your social media in the chat so we can all connect and everyone can reach you, that will be really wonderful. Also, I want to respect everyone's time. If you have to go, please don't hesitate. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're ready for another one question if you want to stay, but if not, thank you so much for joining us today. So yeah, if anyone wants to unmute yourself and jump into the conversation, you are welcome to join. Hello, Davis.
Hello. Hello. Thank you all for the wonderful presentation. I would like to ask this question that what is the best possible means to apply for funding in order to advance your Millennium Fellowship project? Thank you.
Well,
I hope my question is clear. Hello.
Right, right. So the question was, which is the best place to apply for funding for your Millennium Fellowship project? Okay. So I was just repeating it just in case no one heard it. I don't have a particular answer for this.
So Lois, I saw you raise your hand. Do you want to mute yourself and answer that?
Okay. All right, Davis. Hi, Davis. When it comes to grants funding, there are a lot of, like, Fishbowl is one that you can actually check out. There are grants opportunities that you can apply for based on SDGs, based on, there are different NGOs out there that are willing to give out grants if you can actually convince them and tell them what you really want to do with their money. So there are actually opportunities. Fishbowl is actually one of them. You can check that out, and when they'll be having their next application, you can apply for that. And in line with your country or whatever state you are in, there are also opportunities for grants that you can apply for and also get funding for. your projects. Thank you.
And I just want to add that I know that the Millennium Fellowship, maybe they don't fund you, but during the program, they would teach you how to like ask for funding and how to ask for donations and everything. And almost all the university, they have like a scholarship and prizes that if you apply for it, at least Global Learning, they have that if you show your project, they can fund you. So maybe you cannot get the fund immediately, but at one point you will learn how to do that. But yeah.
Thank you, Lois, Prachi, for those wonderful answers. And yeah, if you are into the Millennium Fellowship, we will totally support you to get funds and learn how to. It's a difficult path there, but we can definitely teach you and help you in anything we can. So wrapping up, we really want to thank you so much. Special applause to all of these wonderful panelists. You really fill my heart. I don't want to talk from anybody else, but you have my heart, girls, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Drew, for making this possible, this incredible panel. I'm getting back to you, Dr. Abigail Canales, at your service, and have a beautiful day today.